Soon after, he finds himself in an elevator next to a woman. Opening the system, he decides to check the details of the newly copied skill. With an expression of curiosity and confusion, he seems unable to understand the recognition of the lowest-ranking soldier. Following the explanation, the recognition would be made by the lowest-ranking soldiers of the Vargos race, who would not attack him. Leaving the elevator, he keeps reflecting on that kind of attack prevention. While following the secretariat, he thought it would be a powerful skill to use when alone. The woman stops and opens a heavy door. With a friendly expression, she asks the boy to enter the room. The gray-haired man in a suit seems very pleased to see Choi Jun-hyuk. Even with some shyness, the boy calmly enters the room. The chief asks him to sit in the chair and make himself comfortable. Smiling, he asks if he could speak informally with the protagonist. Not seeing it as a bad situation, he immediately agrees since the man seemed to be doing that from the start. First, he shows that he is impressed with the boy's punctuality. The president of the association seems not to understand when Jun-hyuk starts mentioning all the tasks he performed for his siblings. For a moment, the two remain silent, just exchanging glances. But shortly after, the chief starts laughing out loud. Despite everything, he believed the boy's words were less of a joke. Changing the subject, he decides to get straight to the main point. Meanwhile, the hero waits attentively for the formulation of the sentence. Without wasting time, he reports that the association wanted to make a proposal. The president wanted the young man to refuse all recruitment offers from foreign guilds and stay in Korea. Thoughtful, the warrior says nothing and analyzes the situation. Contrary to the gray-haired man's expectations, he informs that he had never received any offer to join a foreign guild. According to the research, major guilds from the United States were showing interest in recruiting Jun-hyuk. That information seemed completely new to the boy. Despite feeling embarrassed, the president admits that the test data was hacked and the information might have reached the guilds. Believing that all of this was a complete misunderstanding, the young man asks if people knew about his rank. Without wasting time, the man responds that everyone was aware of it. However, Choi Jun-hyuk did not believe that being rank C was something so impressive, as he was only a first awakener. The second awakeners were classified as rank C due to certain statistics. In the end, the protagonist felt there was nothing different about himself compared to them. Choi Jun-hyuk does not know how to react to the facts presented. Focused, the man says that by maximizing the second awakening, he could aim for rank straight away. The protagonist thinks that with the second awakening secured, he could have abilities comparable to a third awakener and even have a chance at rank S. Considering the boy's abilities, he was extremely valuable, and the association believed that was highly attractive. Therefore, they couldn't just stand by and watch someone so talented be taken away. While receiving a notebook from the secretary, he informs that he had prepared 3 conditions. First, he would receive an initial support fund of 1 billion. Second, total tax exemption limited to his group. Lastly, he would receive 2 parts of an A-rank equipment set provided completely free of charge. Handing him a pen, the president states that the contract period would last until the second awakening. Now, Choi Jun-hyuk had only one mission: accept the conditions and sign the contract. But the protagonist seems suspicious, reminding them that he was only a rank C. Despite hearing the proposal, he informs that he was not convinced. All that support offered just to prevent him from moving to another city seems suspicious, so he wanted to know if there were other conditions. Suddenly, the president stands up from his chair, realizing that the boy was very observant. The association's condition was that he could not naturalize in another country during the contract period. Leaning on the table, he explains that the young man could not join a guild and should consult them to participate in expeditions. Additionally, if the association requested the boy's participation in a raid, he would have to prioritize it under any circumstances. In other words, no kind of obstacle would be allowed between Choi Jun-hyuk and the association. In the end, no guild of the warrior's own choosing. These were the final conditions, but he would have little time to consider the proposal. The president informs that the offer would expire the moment he contacted other guilds. However, the protagonist seemed to perfectly understand the situation and signed the contract. Confused, the man in the suit offered some time for him to think, but the young man was determined and already knew his goals. With determination, the two shake hands, sealing the deal. Outside, the city is bustling with people walking everywhere. In a restaurant, a girl examines the menu options with an employee. Suddenly, a child gets excited upon realizing they are in a big